34? I got coffee. You're so clever, Mike.
Thanks.
All right. So, I think this is episode 34, but I'm not positive. We got a few episodes. Oh my God.
One job.
One job. We got a few episodes in the queue. So I may have lost count, but I'm pretty sure this is episode 34 of The Shift with Mike and Joe. We got John Haywood.
Right on.
Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, thanks for being here, man.
Heck yeah.
Glad to be here.
So I'll let you tell the story of how you connected, and then,
All right, sure.
you can, just like the last episode, you can lead by following me.
By following you. Yeah, thanks, Joe. That's really nice of you. So I met John at Cult Classic years ago, probably 6 years ago or so now.
Yeah, it's been
You were just getting started as a songwriter. I was immediately like, this guy's got something going on that's awesome.
You gazed into his eyes the whole time?
Dude, you got some nice eyes. No homo. But you, and I was surprised to hear you say that you had just started writing and performing, or maybe not writing, but performing at least. Mm-hmm. I remembered something about you getting divorced, but I guess I was wrong about that.
Not yet.
But you did mention that you had started writing a book, and it led you to being a songwriter, like writing a book about songwriters. Or tell me about that.
Yeah. So I had traveled through. I was an English major, and after I graduated college in my 20s, I just traveled around and wrote stories and stuff. And I passed through Nashville when I was driving across the U.S. in 2016, and I thought there was something cool going on there. So I came back and had no intention of doing music, but I wanted to write a novel about Nashville and the songwriting scene there and all.
And you had already written stories prior to that?
Yeah, I don't think I ever got any of the stories published. I wrote a novel that's finished, but I never published. It's my first book that I ever wrote. And so I started working on that in 2019 when I was there. And then 2020 came around. And after a year doing that, I was like, I think I kind of just want to write songs instead. So, and then COVID hit. So I just went home, went back to Maryland. And that's when I started going to Cult, because I was learning how to play guitar and writing my first songs and stuff, and and then right after that, in January of 2021 is when I went to Nashville, and for the last 5 years I've been there. Yeah.
Wow, so it was pretty quick.
Yeah,
that's wild. Was there anything in particular that made you shift to music, to wanting to write songs?
I remember I think it was mostly the social aspect of it. I really enjoyed being out doing things. And that was kind of a culture shock for me, because I'd never really done that. And I usually was pretty quiet, had a pretty quiet social life and all. So then I went in 2020, right before COVID, I went to Ireland to work on my book. And the whole time I was I couldn't focus on my book. I just wanted to write songs. So I wrote a song while I was in Ireland, while I was out there. And
oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good tune, man. What's that one called?
Emerald Queen.
Oh,
that's the one I wrote while I was out there. Yeah. So when I came back, I was I think I'm just going to focus on the music. And then the last couple of years I've revisited the novel and started writing again, poetry and stuff. And so I've got a bunch of notes, and I'm going to try to work on it this year.
I'm sure that background in writing novels and poetry helps with songwriting.
Yeah, I mean, it's you're writing out a story, but it's only 3 minutes long.
Mm-hmm. And structured differently.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what got you in? What got you into writing in general? Were you just was that just a natural thing, or?
When I was a kid, when I was a teenager, 15 or so, it's probably when I started writing my first stories. I was pretty good in English class, and I wasn't really good at anything in school. And I was really good at faking book reports, because I could read the first page or the last, the back of the novel, and I could just guess, and I could write it a book report well enough to where the teacher wouldn't be able to tell that I never actually read it.
Yeah.
And,
Cliff's Notes, remember those?
Mm-hmm.
Man, those were so helpful.
I was pretty good at making up stories. So, and then I started writing like fantasy stuff when I was in high school. I was a big Star Wars nerd. And my brother was like, "You like writing so much, why don't you do journalism?" So I did journalism for a semester and hated it. And then I switched to English. And yeah, that was it. Yep.
Were you into music when you were younger?
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I used to lay in bed and listen to, old CDs and stuff. And, I fantasized about having my Marty McFly moment and that sort of thing,
Mm-hmm.
But I never thought I'd do it. Like, I was really shy. And I played an open mic a couple times in college, but it was terrible. Like, I was terrified.
Mm-hmm.
I had really bad stage fright. So I never thought I'd get into that, but I mean, somehow came around to it eventually.
That is an interesting progression.
Yeah.
Do you still struggle with stage fright, or is that kind of?
Yeah, pretty bad. My legs shake a lot when I'm on stage, and oh man, better be my mom.
Not just me.
Party foul.
Better be your mom.
Damn, bro. Oh man.
Spam.
Yeah.
You say it better not be my mom.
All right, that's John Mayer there. My bad.
Oh, hey man, we'll take a break if you need to talk to John.
No, yeah, I still get really bad stage fright, and but it's not as bad as it used to be. What really helped me was when I got my first like really nice guitar, which is a Martin 00015. That was 2020, right before I left Nashville to come back here for COVID, and I learned everything there was to know about this guitar, and over time I, put whatever strings I wanted to put on it, and like I put special bridge pins in it that I bought, and I bought a capo for myself for like, these were all like rewards I gave myself for, learning new lessons on guitar and stuff. And I really personalized this guitar and knew it like the back of my hand. And eventually when I started getting up on stage at Cult Classic and maybe like Metropolitan, I think it was and O'Brien's, there was an open mic there too that I used to go to. What really helped me is knowing that this tool that I had with me, like I knew everything about it. And it was, I don't know, it gave me like confidence, I guess, that I could just be up there as like as my shield or something.
Yeah.
But it's like when you're doing work, like tradesman work or something like that. Like I used to do HVAC stuff with my brother, and when you go onto the job site, your tools, like you feel more confident,
Yeah.
So it's kind of that sort of thing.
It makes a lot of sense.
I do hate going to a writer's night or like a open mic, and it's like everyone's using the same guitar.
Yeah.
And
they're all Taylors.
It's like every once in a while though. Actually at Metropolitan, Jimmy Haha or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that his last name for real? Jimmy Davies, I think it is. He had this little like Cordoba nylon string like miniature guitar. It was awesome. I was like, this is actually the first time I've ever enjoyed playing someone else's guitar. But even like I have a guitar I play at most type of gigs, you know what I mean? Like every bar gig and like if I go somewhere else, like when I play at church, I use like a regular acoustic and it feels all like awkward and like
Yeah. It's like dating. You got to find the right one. And once you find that right guitar, it's like, oh man, this is it.
Yeah. Sometimes you can get like different kinds of inspiration though from picking up a different guitar.
Yeah, definitely. Like just sitting around playing, but live is what I'm talking about.
When you're performing.
Like you're used to the way it feels, like the strap height, everything's like right, and then it's not, and it makes you feel awkward in front of the people for sure.
I hate like playing a gig with a different sound system and like the EQ and the the effects and everything are just like totally different than what you're used to.
Right.
That really bothers me. I start singing and it's like, that's not right. That's not how I want it to sound. Yeah. And then it just throws me off. You know?
Get in your own head.
Bad live sound is one of the toughest things to to deal with. Like
It is, yeah.
playing in different bars and that sort of thing, playing cover gigs and all. And a lot of times when I play around Maryland, I've got my system that I bring. But when I was playing in Nashville a lot of the bars have sound engineers. They all have different systems. Mm-hmm. Every engineer does it differently. And few and far between, there's like some sound people that just like don't get it right, and then they disappear and nobody's behind the board, and you're just sitting up there and you're like, this sounds terrible in my ear right now.
And generally speaking, sound engineers are not like, oh, would you like me to change something? Is there something that you would like me to tweak? They're like, no, fuck you. This is how it is. You know, if you don't like it, get off the stage.
Yeah.
So are all the sound engineers like also musicians that, like you were mentioning, you met a sound engineer that was a bass player?
Yeah.
You hit it off with?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, maybe, I would say most of them probably aren't.
Okay.
That I know of. But some of them do some different stuff. And it's kind of we were talking earlier about doing road stuff and working kind of like a day job in Nashville, that sort of thing, whether you're playing cover shows or you're sound engineering somewhere. Those guys are kind of the same, like, a lot of them want to be out on the road or are out on the road working sound for bigger groups. Uh-huh. And then when they're not on the road, they're working around town at Broadway venues and stuff like that, running sound.
So how were you able to make income when you were living down there?
Well, I had my day job, and I was an editor for a financial advisor. I was lucky enough to get that job in 2019.
That was in Nashville?
Yeah, that was in Nashville. And then with COVID, it went fully remote. And then I was also playing quite a few gigs regularly. But in September of last year, I got laid off. The company was making cuts and everything. And so that's when I shifted to mostly just playing around town and make my money.
So what kind of, you were mentioning there's like writers rounds and there's Broadway and there's like, what are the types of shows and what kind of like, how does the pay differ and the enjoyment differ for you, like amongst the different types of gigs?
Yeah, most of the ones that I did were either solo or duo acoustic, and I'd play with a buddy of mine or something like that. And the pay for those usually isn't great because in Nashville, like the supply and demand's all off. Mm-hmm. You have so many people that if you don't want to play this gig because it's not enough money for you, then somebody else will pick it up. Like, so there's a lot of competition there in that way. And unfortunately, I feel like quite a few of the bars don't really appreciate the songwriters as much as maybe they should, how hard we're working out there. And obviously, like, you're not getting benefits or health insurance or anything like that. Like, most of us are just, this is what we do for a living, myself included now. And there's nothing else. And then as far as the writers' rounds, there's no pay. The most you might get is maybe you split $20 at the end of the night if somebody throws a 20 in there or something, but it's not really a tipping event. And then there might be like a cooler of beer in the back, and you don't have to spend money on your drinks or something, but there's not really any compensation. The writers' rounds are more so, I would say, for getting to know your people and networking and getting your name out there. Mm-hmm. When I first moved to town, I'd play like, my first couple months, I played like 25 to 30 rounds a month. And there was quite a few of them back then. I feel like there's fewer now.
That's almost daily.
Yeah, pretty much. And you play doubles and stuff like that. Like, I mean, it's only an hour, so I would double up on a lot of them. But
the writers' round, so that's a performance, like in front of an audience.
Yeah, so it's like usually 3 or 4 songwriters, and it's just at a bar, regular bar, and it goes from like 6 to 10 or 7 to 11 or something. And each round of writers plays for an hour or 30 minutes, and then they flip on to a different group or something.
So it's just kind of a way to showcase people who are writing original music.
Yeah, it's all originals. Mm-hmm. If you hear a cover at a writer's round, it's because the guy wrote it, and you'll hear some crazy songs.
Yeah.
from like big writers from back in the day and all.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That they sold to the artist. Or
Like
whatever.
Stapleton playing Hootie and the Blowfish or something.
Yeah.
Didn't he? I don't know if he wrote Hootie and the Blowfish, but he wrote some stuff like that.
Adele.
He wrote for a bunch of people.
Yeah. Dude, wouldn't that be amazing to like back in the day go to one of those write-arounds and see Chris Stapleton like before he was famous? That'd be something. Of course, if he wasn't famous, then it wouldn't be.
The one that I saw was probably the most famous person that wasn't famous at the time. Like we would see Morgan Wallen and Hardy and guys like that around. But Ella Langley was, when I moved down there, I think she had her deal with Sony when I first met her. But she would just hang out, at the bars that we still hang out at today. And we'd do writers' rounds and stuff. She'd be playing all the time on the writers' rounds. And then fast forward 5 years later, and she's like the biggest woman in country music.
Yeah, it's amazing
It's crazy.
how quickly that stuff can
What's
take
that
off.
pathway like nowadays? Like, I mean, is it like you need to build a large audience and then the labels are interested, or is it even like what's that like now?
I think it's different for everybody. I mean, you look at somebody like Ashley McBride, she came up playing the writers' rounds and grinding in town like a lot of us are doing now. And she's even said that there's not as many people these days that are coming up that way. Seems to be more about, TikTok and, numbers. And, but it's good for you. Like it does, it humbles you. And I think, I haven't experienced this myself yet, but once you get to the level that you want to get to, I think it's going to be a lot more rewarding if you've spent some time grinding and doing that kind of stuff,
Yeah, I'm sure.
And then there's other people that just blow up overnight on TikTok. Maybe they posted like 5 videos and now all of a sudden they've got 1 million followers and they're getting messages from labels and stuff like that. And, and some people it's a mix. Like, I think it's different for a lot of people. And then there's some people that do it on the road, like a guy like this guy, Jed Harrelson, is a buddy of mine in Nashville. We came up pretty much around the same time as each other. And he's been doing really well with his following online based on his touring schedule. And like he does it all by himself. He's got a wife that helps. And his band's just all his friends. I think his brother's in the band as well or something. And they make their own merch. They independently plan all their tours. And they were playing all these venues and nobody was showing up. And then a year later, 2 years later, people are showing up now. And he's getting good streams. He's got good followers and stuff like that. So, but he's done it all on the road, which I don't think you see as many people doing that these days.
Yeah. What's your goal with, is this like you love the process and whatever happens, or is it like you want to get to a certain level of income or fame or what?
I don't really care about the fame or the income. It would be nice to be able to live comfortably instead of being stressed out all the time about money, which I haven't. Even though I had a day job the last 5 years, like I put all my money into music, and studio is expensive, and but I would just like to be. I want to be one of the best writers of my time, and earn the respect of some of the people that I look up to in the industry, guys like Sturgill Simpson or like Cody Jinks, a lot of Cody Johnson as well, a lot of Texas guys, and like Kentucky country like Tyler and Sturgill and all. But guys like that I look up to and respect, it'd be nice to get like a tip of the hat from people like that, because it's not so much like, I know I don't want to do a lot of the radio stuff. I'm willing to compromise and push myself to be, commercial in some ways, but you're not going to see me, dancing around on stage and, doing cheesy lip sync videos and stuff like that. Hopefully not.
Yeah, that's the struggle, man. I'm sure, like knowing where that line is between.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's great for those guys, but just for me, there's a more authentic, traditional kind of old school mentality that I'm interested in. Like Waylon Jennings is one of the guys that I look up to most as far as mentality.
Yeah, there's definitely a market for that. You know, like a comfortable living market. I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can get filthy rich doing it. I mean, I'm sure Tyler maybe not. I bet you Sturgill's got plenty of money, but Tyler Childers, I'm sure, is plenty well off.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
What about like selling songs to other artists? Is that something you pursued or are interested in doing? Or?
Yeah, I look up a lot to Chris Stapleton in that way. I mean, we were just talking earlier. Like he had a lot of cuts before he became a big solo artist, and he was in a band that a lot of people still love. Before anybody knew who he really was, and I appreciate that about him. Like I'd love to be able to maybe get some big cuts, and even like pop songs and stuff like that. Like I've written all kinds of stuff, and I would love to get something on the radio with a Tucker Wetmore or LL or something like that, you know, or even like a Bailey Zimmerman or even in a different genre like pop. But as far as the performance stuff and being an artist and recording artist, I definitely have I try to be open-minded, but there's definitely like a wheelhouse I'm trying to stay in.
Yeah.
As far as how I portray myself and all.
So at the writers' rounds, are there people there looking for songs, and are there people there looking to sign artists, or is it? There's a lot of questions here, but like I'm trying to get an idea of the atmosphere. Is it a listening room, or is it like it's a bar and there just happens to be a writers' round going on? Or
could be either one. Sometimes I feel like most of the time it's just a bar.
Yeah.
And having writers' rounds going on and having all these musicians on stage is pretty commonplace in Nashville. And I guess as far as like, but then, you know, you get some rooms as well that, and not necessarily because there's only a few people in there. Sometimes there can be a lot of people, but just something in the air, or maybe it's just a really good lineup and the songwriters are really getting the audience to dig in. Maybe it's just your night, you know, but sometimes you'll get those rooms that are really, really intent, you know, and listening very well, even though it's just a regular bar.
Are those things that you get invited to? How do you get connected with a writers round?
You can get invited, you know, if you know the people or whatever that run them. But for the most part, it's like the way I did it. Most people that I know that did it, we showed up, start talking to people that are running the rounds, ask if you can play. Some of the ones that are a little more tough to get into, maybe it's just kind of they're like close knit or whatever, or they just want a more proven quality. It's a lot of times I would go to a writer's round, watch the guys playing, and then afterward I'd go up to them and be like, hey, would you want to write some time? Start writing with some of those guys, and like, oh, you want to play that round that I was on when we met? Like, I'll put in a word for you or something.
Yeah, so like a networking kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, me and my buddies, when we came up, I was lucky enough to meet some really cool dudes my first couple years there. We would just go out all the time to writers' rounds and events and just meet people and have beers with them, and you know, that's how we kind of made a lot of our contacts.
That must have been a pretty big shock for you, being a shy person, like to having to make it your business to go talk to people. Was that a struggle, or is it still a struggle?
Not so much anymore. I feel like around that time, 2019, when I was there, that was most of like the culture shock for me. But by the end of it, that was kind of when I realized basically kind of like how to socialize, which sounds kind of weird and nerdy, but I was kind of a weird and nerdy kid. So
yeah, no, I get it, man.
But it took me into, at that time I was, I don't know, what year is it? 2026? I guess I was like 30. Well, I was 29. Yeah, 2019. But yeah, so it took me that long in life to kind of figure out how to throw my weight around in social circumstances like that, especially at crowded bars and all. But by the time I moved back in 2021, I definitely felt more confident, and I started meeting the right people as far as just good friends, you know, and that made me a lot more confident as well. It made it a lot easier to go out and do things. So, but it definitely was an adjustment, especially in 2019 when I first got to Nashville and really dived in. Like,
did you do anything like, did you set like goals for yourself? Did you read books about how to socialize? Like how did you?
Yeah, I set a lot of goals for myself as far as people that I wanted to meet, people that I wanted to write with, writers rounds that I wanted to play, people that I wanted to play next to.
And you got some of that information from being in Nashville prior to that when you were writing? Like how would you have known which writers rounds? Is that because you were there before?
A little bit.
Yeah.
But even in that 2 years, because COVID happened in between, everything had really changed. So I think most of it was probably, I did a little research on Instagram, mostly on Instagram. In fact, I didn't even have an Instagram before 2020. But I got one, and because that's pretty much your business card down there. Now you got TikTok and everything as well. But I did a lot of research on Instagram, but that wasn't all that informative because there's so much information on there. Mm-hmm. Really, the way that I learned most of what I figured out in the early days was just I went out every single night, and I went to like 4 or 5 different bars a night, and I would just kind of, there's a few pages on Instagram and Facebook you can follow. They have them around here, like what's the one that's Beeper Buzz?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one and stuff. Like,
I'm sure there's plenty of that kind of stuff in Nashville.
Oh yeah, and it'll tell you like, here's the rounds going on tonight and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
And then you get kind of like into the circuit, like, okay, Monday night is here and here, and Tuesday nights is here and there, and here's where everybody goes afterward. And so I just went to as many bars as I could in one night to go, because most of it's at bars, and just try to get involved in as many groups as I could. Mm-hmm. And then people start seeing you everywhere, and they're like, man, you're everywhere.
Yeah.
I feel like you've been here for 5 years and you just got here a few months ago, but that's how it turns out, you know.
And is it like, would you describe it as a pretty small community? Like, do you kind of see the same people over and over again? That sort of,
yeah, I would say so. It's definitely depending on who you talk to. Like, Nashville is a pretty small city in relation to like a Baltimore, or definitely New York or something like that. But it feels kind of like a big city to a lot of people, but within it, especially in the songwriting scene and the music scene, it's like a small town. Like, everybody knows everybody, and I think it's just from the music scene around there. I mean, there's only so many places to go, mm-hmm. and there's always something to do, and so people are always going out and doing things, and you know. And then you also start to notice when somebody hasn't been around in a while, you know, and then they'll come back out, and months later, and it's like, dude, I haven't seen you in ages. It's usually because they got a girlfriend or something, or taking a break from drinking or something like that.
Yeah, I would imagine it's probably a pretty tight-knit community of musicians that are working hard trying to make their way.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of people down there, and I mean, like I said, especially now, there's only so many writers rounds that you can go to, and that's usually where people congregate, is the writers rounds. And the full band, every now and then they'll do full band showcases, like a whiskey jam or something.
So you've got a bunch of stuff on Spotify, or a decent amount, and I was checking it out this morning. You have some pretty decent numbers on there. Can you tell us about like the recording process and getting your stuff on Spotify? And
so let's see, my first 2 songs, I worked with a guy that I had met doing that TV show that you asked me about.
Definitely want to talk about that too.
2023 we met, and then a year later he recorded my first 2 songs for me. And I had been in the studio a few times before that. It was mostly like I was just trying to find my sound and that sort of thing. Whereas people back in the day, they'd have garage bands and they'd go on the road and just start playing places. that's how they found their sound as a band. In Nashville, what a lot of people do is they come to Nashville and then none of us really know much about playing out on the road, and it's a little different than it used to be. And so we end up going into the studio and recording some of our early work. And this is like a lot of people that I know, a lot of songwriters there, and it's very expensive.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff you don't end up using. Like I know I'm not the only one that's happened to. And I don't necessarily regret it. It was just maybe not the smartest way to go about it, or the least, or the best economically. But that's what I did. And then I finally landed on 2 songs with Paul Ebersold, released those 2 in 24. And then I just kind of bounced around. I tried some different things. Last year I recorded the Melrose tapes, which were work tapes that I recorded on my couch in my apartment, just on my iPhone. And I just had them mastered, and I put those out. And sprinkled in some other recorded stuff that I've worked on. Right now, I've got a friend in Nashville, Ben Marshall, that has a studio just outside of town. And we've been using his spot, and I just bring in the band that I play with on a regular basis. I usually play with the same guys, and we recorded one last fall. We've got another session coming up in early April, so I'm going to go down to Nashville for that. And the rest of this year, I'm just going to work on that. I think we're going to use that studio and those guys and do a few songs and see how I feel at the end of the year.
And then did you just release something live, like from Tweens?
Yeah.
Like just a couple days ago, right?
Yeah, Friday actually. So that one, I don't know. I got a weird idea to just kind of, when I'm playing these cover shows, I play in bars so much. It's such a big part of my life. So I usually have my phone set up, like to read lyrics and everything. And so I was like, what if I just hit record on this thing? And I got that Bose L1 tower. Mm-hmm. I just got that like next to my mic stand pretty much. And I was like, let me give it a shot. So I played a set at Twain's in Pasadena.
Was this solo?
Yep. Okay. And I recorded the song Magdalene, which I've released about a year ago as a studio one take and just acoustic. And I figured I got a pretty good recording of it, so I decided I'd do it again live. But I just hit record on my iPhone while I was at the bar, and it wasn't too loud or anything with the crowd, but
yeah. Is that the one, it's kind of like a repeating picking pattern?
Yeah, it's a bluesy song.
And you have a video on your Instagram of you playing that, like sitting back on a couch. Is that the song? Am I thinking of the right song?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good tune, man. That's the one I was getting mixed up with. Not that the other one wasn't good too, but like when I was scrolling through your stuff, that was one that really stood out to me.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I came across the video of it on Instagram first.
Yeah.
And then I heard it on Spotify. That must have been the one take you were talking about?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just recorded that on your iPhone?
Yep.
And then had it mastered?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I got a buddy that does, he's been doing quite a bit of he did all the masters for me for Melrose tapes, which is 8 songs. And that was the same thing. It just wasn't live. It was like in my apartment as opposed to actually during a set. But I just like, I don't, especially with after losing my job, I did a whole tour at the end of last year for the Melrose tapes, which took me overseas as well. And I'm still trying to figure out everything financially with just playing gigs around here. And so I like to try things that I can still get some music out there, but I don't have to go into a studio and, spend a lot of money on players and all that stuff. So
if you can do stuff like that, and it does fairly well, it's almost like, what's the point of going? I mean, there's a difference obviously in the quality, but hey man, if stuff like it does have a very intimate kind of feel when you record that way, you know, it's like the listeners like hanging out in your living room with you. Yeah. Which is, there's a novelty to that for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
So when did you like start seeing some success? Because like I said, when I checked out your Spotify, I was like, oh, he's got like 30,000, 28,000.
Yeah.
The numbers look pretty good.
They're pretty good. I'm still, working on where I want to be, and I right now I'm trying to focus a bit more on Maryland, and because when I first started playing, like I just played a few open mics for that summer and winter, and then hit the ground running, went straight to Nashville, and I didn't really plug in with a lot of people or venues here in Maryland. And then I started coming back and playing a few venues. And so this year I'm really trying to kind of dig into the hometown folks and connect with more people out here and more venues and more of the songwriters as well. But I guess, my first two songs when they came out, they did really well. And then...
What was the first one you released?
Ghost Town in the Sky.
Okay.
I like that one.
Yeah, Mike mentioned that one.
And As I Ride, I think is the other one I really liked.
Yeah, so those have been done pretty well. It's been a while since I've done like a fully produced studio song, and so I'm excited for April 10th. I have one coming out called Stardust Tumbleweed.
Okay.
I wrote that with some buddies, and we recorded that at Ben's studio, and that's where we're gonna do 2 more songs when I get down there in April. So I'm excited to start getting some. I'll still do some live recordings too, I think, in between, but I'm excited to start getting some more like studio stuff out.
So how would you like describe your sound? We probably should have hit that right in the beginning, but I definitely heard some like Johnny Cash influence kind of stuff, outlaw country.
Yeah, I love the outlaw country.
Yeah.
But right now, I think that's kind of where my head's at mostly. But I also, when I started doing songs, it was a lot of folk influence, a lot of blues influence. I'm a big fan of the 70s, as I love the Allman Brothers, are my favorite band, and like guys like James Taylor and Paul Simon, and even like the Willie and Waylon stuff from the 70s. Like, it's just a great time for music. But right now I've kind of settled into this kind of outlaw gothic country kind of
Gothic
vibe.
country.
Yeah.
Gothic country, okay.
That's a term I've seen floating around. I was like, I guess that kind of fits.
Yeah, I could see that a little bit. Yeah.
You kind of give me like a more authentic Bruce Springsteen, like more authentic than Bruce Springsteen is, but like kind of that vibe a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I always wonder, I'm like, did Bruce Springsteen ever work like a regular job? Like, all those guys.
Really, is that jean jacket just for show?
Yeah. All those guys that write about like, working man stuff.
Yeah.
Like, did they ever do that? I don't know.
Well, you did say that you worked HVAC, so.
I used to help my brother with some of that stuff. Yeah, my dad was a sheet metal contractor. My mom was a contractor for a while.
Dang.
My brother still owns his business. Does HVAC.
He's definitely much manlier than you are.
Your mom's more manly than me too.
My mom was badass. Yeah,
that's awesome. What was it like growing up? What was your childhood like?
It was. It's pretty normal, I guess. I was super shy. I had 2 older brothers. The oldest is the one who works in HVAC. But and then my mom worked in a hospital. She did like blood work and stuff like that, and she helped with some of my dad's business, my brother's business, and all. And I don't really like have a lot of memories from my childhood though. Like very few things. I remember like my dad hit me in the head with a baseball in coach pitch one year. That was pretty funny.
It seems to happen all
It's like one
of
of my really vivid memories.
It's your last memory.
Yeah.
That's the last one. It's blank after that. I woke up in Nashville.
Yeah.
At Cult Classic.
Next thing I know. It was, we used to ride 4-wheelers and stuff like that. I remember going out to the campground with my dad.
Where'd you grow up? In country, city, suburbs?
Suburbs, I guess, / like country. Maryland's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's
South of Baltimore, right?
Yeah. My dad was from South Baltimore. I grew up in Anne Arundel County. We were in, I guess, Crofton first. Like I used to play baseball for Arden.
Okay.
Where Arden's at. And now they're in Gambrels, which is like close to Fort Meade. But we only have a few acres, but we have 2 horses, and
okay.
it's like I saw this thing the other day that Maryland, one of the nicknames for it is, what did they call it? Like the mini USA or something like.
Just like a
yeah
microcosm kind of thing.
Yeah, because it's pretty much all of the U.S. Crammed into one really small state, you know.
Yeah.
And there's like, we got horses, and you drive 15 minutes up the road, and you're in Baltimore City.
You're in the inner city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I spent some time in Juneau, Alaska, and I remember I lived there with a guy that was from Kent County, which is, you know, extremely rural.
Yeah.
And we would, you know, talk to people that were like from there or just from the West Coast and tell them, yeah, we live in the cornfield. And they were like, no way. We don't believe you. The East Coast is nothing but cities, just up and down, just city, 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 city. They're like, yeah, but there's a lot of rural area in between. I just remember them being like mind blown by that.
Disbelief.
Yeah, basically didn't believe us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. You get a lot of that everywhere you go, I feel like, being from Maryland.
Yeah.
Like,
People just think it's
music, you know.
Maryland is just Baltimore.
Yeah.
You know? The entire state of Maryland is Baltimore. That's what people think.
Or Ocean City.
Right.
I mean, I don't even know if like, you know, people from across the country even
Yeah, that's true.
know about Ocean City. Everybody knows about Baltimore though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They think it's just like Baltimore, Philly, New York, you know, it's all just right next to each other and there's no rural area in between.
Yeah.
Which is not true.
So you said when you were a kid, you were kind of a Star Wars nerd. What else were you into?
That was probably the biggest thing. I really liked Sonic and Ninja Turtles.
Heck yeah, bro.
But
Turtles in a Half
Video
Shell.
games? Were you a video game kid?
yeah, I was actually like a big gamer. And then I started building computers.
Oh, cool.
And I still have the one that I built like in 2012 or something.
Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Just mining Bitcoin as we speak.
Never got into that. I should have. That would have been great. What'd you ask me?
Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Probably. I mean, Leo when I was growing up, because of course Leo. But I really like Raph.
Yeah, you're a Raph kind of guy to me.
Yeah, he's all moody and
Rebellious.
stuff.
Yeah.
How about you, Mike? Who's your favorite?
I switched between Michelangelo and Raphael.
Yeah.
Those are like my two polar, you know.
Yeah.
I'm either super moody or just like, hey.
Right. They were, I don't know. I was going to say they were the most likable, but
I always
they were
wanted
all
to punch
likable.
Leonardo in the face. Like, stop telling her what to do.
Yeah.
You remind me of my older brother. Just shut up.
See, I was the older brother, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked Michelangelo a lot too.
Yeah. He's fun.
Yeah, he is fun.
Do you like penicillin on your pizza?
Oh man.
Did you guys ever watch the live action ones?
Oh yeah, like
Yeah,
Casey Jones and yeah. I mean, not that he wasn't in the cartoon scene, but yeah, the first one was so good, dude. Like,
It's a legendary movie.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the first movie. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
amazing.
I remember being like, I wish I lived in New York City so I could go hang out in that Foot Clan place.
Yeah, right.
Smoking
Yeah.
cigarettes and
And
playing
they
video
looked
games.
so real. You know, they really did.
They did for
Yeah, they were
the
great, man.
like I think they looked better than the like CGI ones. It was more
We were
real.
Jen and I were watching, or I tried to get her to watch. Man, what is that movie? The fairy tale movie that was like a classic.
Princess Bride.
Princess Bride.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, "This is the dumbest. Like, it looks so fake, you know." And I'm like, "It's a
That's
classic."
the
You've never
point.
seen-"
It's like
Right, I know. I was like, it's supposed to be kind of funny, but like to think that Ninja Turtles was not long after that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Like maybe not even 10 years.
Yeah, they really hit it out of the park with that one.
They sure did. No, it was more than 10 years. Yeah, because I think Princess Bride was like 87.
80s, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, disregard that. I'll edit that dumb comment out.
So what about nowadays? Do you have anything you're into besides music?
I mean, I read a lot. I've been reading a lot of novellas lately, just like really short kind of stories. And I'm trying to stay away from the video games. But yeah, I just get like absorbed into that stuff
Yeah.
if I start.
And there's so much more to them now, and like
And they got some crazy ones out these days.
it's all and it's like way more engineered to
Yeah.
sort of suck you in.
Be addictive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, I pretty much just read and, you know, hang out with my buddies and hang out with the dogs, the horses. Not a whole lot. I like going on the road. So, I mean, mostly it's for music now, but I really just want to travel a lot. So
yeah, tell us about going overseas. How'd that come about, and what was that like?
Well, it came about because so I was going for a wedding, a friend's wedding. He's from Scotland, and I booked a whole month, and this was back in like June that I booked my trip. And I was going to pick up a couple gigs while I was out there. Like, why not?
Yeah.
You know, play a little bit, maybe borrow somebody's guitar or something. And then I lost my job in September, and I was like, well, I better book a lot of gigs because I don't have any money. And so when I went out there, I went between Scotland and England and played about, I don't know, 12, 15 shows or so.
Did you book those before you went?
Mm-hmm.
Were you able to kind of, I would think it would be like kind of a novelty to be like, I'm from Nashville, and like they would like that, right? Like Nashville artist comes to Scotland kind of thing. Did you capitalize on that at all? Yeah,
there's actually quite a few Nashville themed bars out there too.
Nice, dude. Yeah. You're like, hell yeah, this is
I got this Nashville
on lockdown.
It was kind of weird. Like they look a lot like Broadway bars.
Yeah.
And they do a good job with them. And then they also have tribute bands out there, which are more than just like what we would consider like a tribute cover band. Like these guys, they'll have like the #1 Morgan Wallen tribute out there, or Luke Combs tribute, and they dress like they obviously play all the songs and everything, but it's like it's crazy. Like it's really big, especially in the country vein. Like I don't even know if they have like tribute.
Yeah, I've never seen that. You see it for like older bands like Beatles and Pink Floyd and stuff, Queen and stuff, but it's not. You don't see like an Alan Jackson tribute band.
No, not normally.
Here, or even a more modern guy like Morgan Wallen.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I think it's because those guys don't really get to tour over in the UK a lot. So you have these lookalikes, basically, that, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense, right?
Yeah, because, I mean, country's getting so big out there, and
that's interesting.
Small fraction of shows that actually get played out there, and the tickets sell up like crazy. So all these people are just starving for country artists to come over to the UK. And so they go see the tributes instead, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's so interesting that, like, because, I mean, country music is so, in my mind anyway, maybe I have a misconception, but it's so uniquely American. How do they relate to it? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, country music comes from like Irish music, and like all the storytelling and the having roots and just like family and rural life and that sort of thing. Yeah. Even like the drinking culture and
I mean,
so many of the ballads and love songs and stuff like that. Like, comes from a lot of Irish music. And I think it's just like a lot of the stuff that I listened to when I was over there, like Jerry Cinnamon is a great Scottish artist. And he sings about like really blue collar, just, I don't know, real life stuff. Like Sam Fender is a guy that I really like right now. He's a younger guy from England, and they just sing about real shit, you know. And I think that's kind of, and also the instrumentation, like a lot of you know, folk music and stuff is very acoustic, and then on top of all that, I think it's just country's just taken the world by storm over the last 5 years.
It's a very popular genre for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely picking up steam.
Yeah.
The outlaw country stuff has been picking up steam for a while.
Which makes more sense to me than like, you know, Toby Keith and Morgan Wallen and Luke.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There are, like you were just saying, there's people all over the world that just, that the drinking culture, the working a 9 to 5, I'm a regular guy, you know, that authenticity, even though a lot of it ends up not being very authentic.
We'll put a boot in your ass. It's the American way.
There's so many people that
probably not listening to that one.
That appeals to. I would bet that they probably are. I bet you there's people.
They actually love that one over there.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I would not be surprised at all if there's people in Ireland like singing along to Toby Keith, you know?
Interesting.
Funny.
So you briefly mentioned the TV show. We talked a little bit about it before the cameras came on.
Hold on, Joe. Hold on. Can you hold that thought?
Okay.
Okay. Can you tell us about the gigs that you played there? What were they like, and what did you play?
In the UK?
Can you talk about the TV show and then the gigs, and they like flip back and forth like, a little
So
bit?
that we don't know what you're actually talking about. Did you do covers? Did you get paid like a living wage? Was it tips? Like all that kind of details like that.
I
Everything.
didn't get paid at all when I went over there.
Really?
I played some shows and
Wait, you said you booked a bunch of gigs so that you could make money?
no, I definitely did that because I didn't have a visa. So
Oh, okay. I got you.
I had some, but I was well taken care of while I was out there, thanks to friends.
Did people put you up while you're? Like,
Yeah.
That's good.
No, I got. Just don't tell anybody. I got paid pretty well. But it was all through friends. I had a couple friends in Scotland that just friends of theirs that had bars. They got me connected, and then all the English shows were because of a buddy of mine, Gary Quinn, who I reached out to a bunch of people, and even before I went to the UK, I had talked to a buddy of mine, and I was like, should I get another job and just stay in Nashville and try to make this work? Like, I haven't really been happy here for a while. Like, he said, you should go on the road. And so that's what I did. And I reached out to a bunch of friends, mostly on the East Coast. And that's how I got a lot of gigs. And then when I went overseas, it was the same thing, just like the kindness of people to give me a hand. And then as I was traveling around the UK, again, similar to how I was traveling around the East Coast of the States before I left, I would just bunk up with people. Or there was, I think, once or twice I had to get an Airbnb while I was out in the UK. But and then when I was in the States, I think I slept in my truck a couple nights, but it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
So just help, good people helped me out.
Cool.
Yeah.
And were you playing your songs or covers or a mix or what?
A mix. Some of them were cover gigs, and then I played 2 shows as well in they were both in Glasgow. I opened up for my buddy Chris Andrucci, and then I also opened up for Callum Kerr, both Scottish guys.
Okay.
Out there, 2 different venues, and that was all original stuff. And then I played a few listening rooms, which was all originals, maybe like 1 cover that I did. But and then I played some shows that were just covers for the most part, yeah.
Okay, cool. Did you do any busking?
No, I didn't do any busking. I didn't really have a lot of time. It really just flew by. Like, and in the middle of it was the wedding, which I was a groomsman in. So we were doing all that stuff. But yeah, I couldn't believe how fast it went.
You said it was a month?
It was a whole month. I thought I'd get a bit homesick. I haven't traveled that far for that long of a period in quite a while. But yeah, it was great. I mean, there was a lot of good people over there. I got a lot of friends over in Scotland, especially. So it was a great time.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah, man.
I just wanted to hear about it. Go ahead, Joe.
No, that was interesting stuff. I'm glad you continued that thought.
Yeah, you should absolutely go to Scotland.
Man, I would.
England as well.
I've never. I've done a little bit of traveling, but never to the UK, Scotland, England. I would love to go.
I've been all over, but not Scotland. I've been Ireland, everywhere, like almost everywhere else in Europe, but never Scotland. I've heard amazing things about it.
I've been to Scotland, but nowhere else.
Oh yeah, well, I went to Rory McIlroy's wedding in Ireland.
Yeah, you did. That's right. That's true.
That's crazy.
That is wild. Yeah. So I want to hear about the TV show. It definitely, it's the first couple videos on your Instagram and grabbed me. If I did that, I would definitely keep them at the top of my Instagram too.
Yeah, that was a cool experience. It was called Banded. It was on AXS TV. I think now it's on Tubi.
Oh, cool. I can just watch that. I have Tubi.
Yeah, I think it's on there.
You got Tubi?
It's free.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, with ads.
Yeah.
But, anyway, sorry. Cut you off.
I think AXS was the same way. I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so I can't remember how many people it was, maybe 25 of us or something. But they paired us off into bands. It was 5 bands competing against each other. None of us knew each other. Some of the players knew each other from the Broadway circuit because they picked most of us up in Nashville. But it was a big experiment, and we had to write 6 songs throughout the show to perform. And I think it was 8 episodes altogether. And then we were paired with a writer for our band. So each band had a different writer, and they were all accomplished writers. Ours was Justin Wilson, who's got quite a few hits. And we just, put together 6 songs, rehearsed. We'd go out to the Municipal Auditorium in downtown Nashville, where they built the whole stage for us. It was like shaped like a guitar and everything. And then we'd rehearse it on the stage a couple times, and then we would go out and perform it for the judges and on.
So you said there was 8 episodes. Was it like a reality show too, or was it just performances on?
It was pretty much just performances. There wasn't really any like.
They weren't filming
Kardashian like element or anything like that, or like Big Brother or something like that.
Okay.
It was. There was some like behind the scenes stuff, like they would interview us after. Performances and stuff.
So were the bands like a mix of like, and maybe I have a misconception of what the scene is like, but I would imagine there's like writers and then there's players, and there's not a ton of crossover. Like the players are players and the writers are writers. Did they find you? Is that a fair assessment, or is
I feel like when we started the show, we were all writers, which was new for me because I'd never written a song with a band. As the show progressed, I think everyone kind of took on their own approach to it. I think some of the bands, like, they wouldn't have their full band in to write the song, or some of it was just like the singer and the writer that was paired with the band, which I feel like is a pretty common thing. Like a lot of bands, it's usually like one guy or maybe the guy and the lead guitarist that are writing these songs or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and then the players are just kind of spending time just working on shit.
Yeah, like they hear the song and their gift is like, I'm gonna write a cool guitar part that goes with this. And so, did they pick up what you're saying? Everyone was a writer, but then some people sort of kind of migrated to being more players.
Yeah, I would say so. Okay. But it was a great experience for me. I mean, it was kind of like a crash course. It was 2023 that we actually filmed it. And then I think it released in the summer of 24. So that would have been the end of my second year in Nashville. Well, the end of my third year, I guess. Yeah. I'd never played with a band before at that point, ever in my life. And I'd never performed on a stage like that with a band. I'd never sang without my guitar. Like
big stage, yeah.
Yeah.
How did you get that? Did someone approach you, or did you apply, or what?
Well, it's a funny story. So somebody told me about it, and I went to this open audition, or whatever, and they liked me, and they brought me to the auditorium for the next one. But the night before, I had gotten into a little scuffle at the bar, and somebody sucker punched me, and I had a pretty fat lip on me, and so I walked in
at the audition.
Yeah, so I walked in the second audition, and they put a contract in front of me, like a 1-page contract, and I was like,
"You want to fight?" You trying to fight?
Round 2.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to sign anything. Like,
yeah.
You guys could just take all the footage from this and just make fun of me because I got a fat lip or something. Like, I've seen what you do to people on American Idol and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's like, so I walked out. I was like, I'm not going to do it. And then a month or so later, there had been some issues getting the show running, and they still needed people. And one of my buddies was on it, so he reached out and he was like, "Hey man, like they still need people. Would you want to do it?" And I was like, "All right, well, I might as well. Why not?"
And he had been in the mix a little bit to know that I wasn't going to be make fun of you situation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, by the time I came back, I didn't have a fat lip. So
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
It healed up.
But even without the fat lip, just wondering, like, what is this going to be? Like, is it going to be, like, are they looking for some people to sort of dog on and, you know, like, is it going to be a reality show?
I mean, did you get a pitch of any kind? Like, hey, this is what we're doing here? And or was it just kind of walking into it blind?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of half and half, I guess. For me, being who I was and never having done anything with TV, you know, I was pretty blind going into it. Didn't really know what to expect. But you know, it was good that I knew at least one guy that was on the show.
Right.
And I had a good band and had people to, you know, chat with along the way and that knew what they were doing or had more experience with it. One of the guys in the band had been on American Idol, I think, before, and so he kind of knew a little bit about it, you know, as far as the TV element.
Did you get a preview of the musicians that you were going to be working with? Did you know that they were
No, it was kind of like I don't know why I just thought of this. This is how much of a nerd I am. But it's kind of like Pokemon. Like when you walk into like the building and they have all these Pokemon hanging out and you don't know what any of them do. You don't know which one you want to pick. And they're kind of just like doing random stuff. They like brought us into this house in Mount Juliet and we were all hanging out and, you know, there's all these instruments everywhere. And me as like a writer and singer, I'm just kind of hanging out and listening to people play. And the guy that actually ended up being our guitarist, Corey, was the guy that when we were standing around the house, I heard him fiddling around his guitar and I was like, I hope he's my guitarist. Like, he sounds cool. So it was, you know, we didn't really know what to expect. And we didn't really get any, other than maybe catching, I think I caught some of the other people's auditions, maybe. But
what were the auditions like? What did you do?
For me, the only ones I did were, I did an acoustic. They brought us into a bar, and it was the very first one I did, and I played just a few original songs.
Okay.
That was it. For the musicians, they had to go up in the auditorium and play with some of the other players. And
Okay, so they did hire specific like people.
They had a house band.
Players. Okay, yeah, right on. Okay.
And they were pretty stout, so.
Yeah. I had a buddy that played drums on American Idol, and he was real good.
Yeah.
Like, and playing stuff that was just so easy, you know, for him. Like, but they pick really good people for that stuff. It's
Right.
like it's awesome.
So the drummer, the band that you had, like the performance that I saw, first couple videos on your Instagram, was that the house band or was that a band that was
our band?
That was the band that you worked with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had I think we had the best drummer on the show for sure. Like
I was gonna say the two. I mean, I thought the whole thing was awesome, but I definitely noticed like that drummer is awesome.
Yeah.
And the guitar player ripped a pretty mean solo in that first video.
Yeah, Corey was great. Isaac was great. We had a really good group, and Justin was awesome to write with as well. So.
What you mentioned, he had some hit songs. I should have buttoned this shirt, Mike, because it's like it's coming apart.
We could take a pee break and you could button it. You want to?
My belly would probably make the buttons pop out. Anyway, man, what was I gonna say? I noticed that you talked about a few minutes ago. I think you said that was the first time you had ever played, like you had ever performed without a guitar. And I noticed in the one video you were strumming, and then you went and you sat your guitar down, and you came back and picked up the mic. You know, was that a planned thing? Was that something that?
When we were working on the song at the house, which was kind of like our little practice area, we talked about what we would do on stage, and then we had 2, I think, rehearsal takes on the actual stage, and that's when we try some stuff out real quick, and then that's what we went with on the final performance.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, especially that particular song. What was the name of that one?
That one was "Shoot from the Hip."
Yeah, real upbeat, like rock and roll country kind of song. Makes sense to get out there and perform, with just the microphone. Yeah,
it was definitely it was an interesting experience for me. I mean, up to that point, I had no experience being on stage really, other than just like sitting on a stool and playing my guitar.
Yeah.
So,
That's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, that's the kind of venue where you gotta perform.
Right.
know?
Yeah. It's a big stage.
Do you get to use any of those songs, or do they just die with the show?
That song there, that was the first song that we played. I guess it's the second episode, Shoot from the Hip. And that's my favorite song that we did. And I still play that all the time. And I'll probably cut it eventually.
You're allowed to record it? Or do you got to give like rights to other?
I'm allowed to record it and put it out.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll get any money out of it. Mm-hmm. You know, they might have all the rights to it or whatever, but
right.
I would still do it. I mean, it's a great song.
Sure. Yeah.
So.
It was really, really good song.
Yeah.
I had another question and now I've lost it. What do you got, Mike?
I like to know what people's like routines are. So like, do you have?
What's a day in the life of?
No, that's not the question, Joe.
Is that off you?
What's that?
Can I bum a Zen?
Yeah, man. Sure. That's an Alp. They're pretty good. I like them. You gotta. Sometimes they're kind of like all bunched up to one side, so I usually like
Kind of spread it out.
spread it out. Oh, where you could just toss it in there. I get.
You can do
See
it.
what happens.
Do it like this if you need to.
No, I should have known, man. I mean, you just were like, this is the kind of guy. He doesn't prepare. He just goes there. You know what I mean? Just go to Nashville, pick up a guitar. A month later, I'm going to Nashville.
Yeah.
I admire that, dude. It's
Dude,
awesome.
I know that's ballsy, man. That's awesome. That's very awesome, especially considering the way you've described your personality and like sort of your disposition.
Yeah.
That's like that's a big. That
Sounds like you really like made a decision to push yourself to do some of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I try to remind myself of that. My parents, my friends, my brothers, you know, they always try to remind me to be doing the things that I'm doing based off of who I grew up as is impressive, and I should be grateful for that, and I should be happy with like how far I've come.
Yeah.
And that's not a brag in any way, because I really just spend all day thinking about how much more I want to do, you know, and where I want to get to. I don't really think so much about the massive steps that I've taken. And like, I grew up in a family that all my family pretty much stayed around Maryland in the DMV area, and nobody ever really traveled a whole lot. Or, you know, I had some musically inclined people in the family, but they never did much with it. And so I'm proud that I've, you know, traveled a lot and rushed into some things. I just kind of always had this feeling that like I didn't want to settle for the person that I just kind of like was, you know. I was really quiet, and I didn't really like being quiet. I remember when I used to go to dances, we couldn't dance at our school. I went to a little tiny Baptist school, but I went to a Lutheran church in Baltimore. And they were like really cool and fun, and we would go on trips and we'd have dances and stuff, and I could never dance. Like, I was too shy, and it was one of my goals when I was in my 20s, and stuff like that, and like traveling and playing music and everything. Like, you know, I'm sure there's other people out there that feel that way. Like, it's not so much like, you know, they say you should get comfortable in your own skin and just be who you are. But like, what if you don't like who you are when you're 15 or something? Like, I want to be extroverted, you know, to some extent. Like, we wouldn't be having this conversation, you know, 20 years ago. But I always try to like push myself and grow. But it's hard to kind of like rest on your laurels. You know, I always want to go further, and I spend a lot of time not being really as grateful as I should be, I suppose, for what I have accomplished.
The fine line between ungratefulness and pushing yourself.
Yeah.
I would imagine that there's probably like what you're describing is probably more common than maybe what a lot of people think. That there's probably a lot of people who are, you know, spend time in the spotlight, but it's not necessarily like coming naturally to them. Like they've pushed themselves to do that. You know? Did you meet other people in like Nashville or along the way that maybe are trying to push themselves in the same way you are?
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing about Nashville, one of the cool things about it is it's a melting pot. You got people from all walks of life and all ages that are trying to do this stuff. And, you know, I've met kids that are prodigies. I've met people that have never picked up a guitar in their life, and their friends said they got a nice voice or something, and they start doing it. And there's people as well that they're not trying to be artists; they're just trying to be writers. And I've met guys that had, record deals or publishing deals back in the 80s or 90s or 2000s, and stepped away from it, or career went south, or personal things happened, and then they came back, and now they're back in Nashville going at it again. Like, there's so many different trajectories out there, and I've met a lot of people that it just doesn't really come naturally to. I'm definitely one of those people. Like, I'm not, I was never, if you would have picked me out of a box of cards, you just wouldn't have thought that I'd be going in this direction, like, I just wasn't really built for that. Like, but there's a lot of ingenuity out there, and a lot of creative drive, and there's a lot of support. Like, the songwriter community in Nashville is very supportive. And I feel like that's like a lot of music communities, or at least I would hope so. Like, music's supposed to bring people together, and I don't think you should ever discourage somebody from pursuing an art. Like, even if you're not necessarily good at it, like, if it makes you happy. I got a buddy of mine that, my buddy Wade, he loves playing, and he's only picked it up recently over the last few years, and he's still learning and stuff. But and he talks to me a lot about it, and I always try to tell him, like, dude, just doesn't matter what anybody says, just do it. Like, if it makes you happy. Music is like therapy. Writing and just picking up a guitar and playing or learning something, like, there's never a reason really not to do it.
Yeah.
There was this story I heard one time. It was I think it was about a gardener or something like that. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but basically, and I tell Wade this all the time, like, the time's going to pass anyway. So you can spend time sitting there wishing that you'd tried something new and tried to learn at it, or you could spend time not doing that, and you might as well do something. So
yeah, that makes me think. I heard something similar. It wasn't a gardener story, but somebody told me one time you can either spend your time or you can invest your time. Same kind of theory,
Yeah,
I thought that was very enlightening when I heard that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, and that's, there's so many people, like I said, down in Nashville that are doing that, and there's quite a few guys that were athletes, like my buddy Nate. Frederick, he's got a band called the Wholesome Boys, and he also has some solo stuff. He's a great writer. He was an athlete and suffered an injury and picked up a guitar, started writing. Tucker Wetmore is the same way. I think he came upon writing when he dealt with some injury stuff when he was an athlete. But, it's nice to know that music is always there. Like, you can always turn to that when things don't go as planned.
Is there any, like, advice you hear thrown around that you think is bad advice for musicians, like kind of common advice that gets doled out?
That's a great question. I don't know. I mean, not so much advice. I'm sure there's something out there I could think of, but more so, I think, for a lot of us that play music, whether you're really good or really bad, like, there's always somebody out there that wants to tell you should find a day job.
Oh, yeah.
I've had people tell me that before.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think it was Hardy had an acceptance speech a couple years back, and he still had, like, a comment or something, or a letter somebody had written him that was telling him, like, do something else because you're not good. Now look at him. There's a lot of people out there that want to discourage you from doing it. But when you really think about what it takes to do it, Some people are naturally gifted at it, and they can just get out there and rock out, and it's just like, they live and breathe music. And there's some people that aren't that way, but I don't think it's ever right to discourage somebody from doing it, because you're not going to hurt anybody as long as you're writing, good positive music.
Yeah, right. Yeah. True. Right. Might hurt somebody's feelings, maybe.
Have you had any situations on stage where things went horribly wrong?
Yeah. One in particular was probably the first time I was ever on stage. Before I did music, I made an effort in college. I went to Liberty University, and there was a worship team at the church I was going to. And I was like, I'll try it. And I had an electric guitar, so I played rhythm for him. And the first time I got up on stage, it was during a practice, and I put my guitar on, and the strap popped off, and the guitar just fell on the ground. And it was never the same ever since. It wasn't that great of a guitar. It was pretty cool, but yeah, that was extremely embarrassing. I've had a lot of moments on stage that, either I messed up a song or embarrassed myself somehow. Sometimes I wonder why I keep going back at it, but I mean, I was talking to somebody recently, and they were talking about how they kind of wish they would have played more music and tried more at it. And they said they were referencing a time when they had an embarrassing moment on stage, one of the first times they did it, and then after that they were just like, yeah, that was enough for me. Like, But I feel like there's a lot of people out there, especially in Nashville, that have those moments, and then you just
Buy a strap lock.
Yeah. Buy a strap lock. There you go. Good
Problem
advice.
solved.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you have to have some of that stuff happen to you to learn the solutions to it. It's like, and it could be like, I mean, it never really occurred to me for that to be like I'm done with this type of thing, but I totally get how it could be for for some people, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially, I think it's so interesting that to hear about like what you're saying about people that aren't really musically talented that are moving to Nashville. Like that's awesome. Like just to have the.
It is awesome. I mean,
we know so many people that are talented, like that are just like I'm not messing with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you were talking earlier about when we were talking about like Chris Stapleton, and you said there's like a fine line. I think there's a fine line between it being awesome and like, come on, man, because there are people who are just, not that talented that just go and do something like that. And it's like, you were talking about like, I don't ever, you don't want to discourage people. And I agree. I think because sometimes there are people that
maybe there's another way
sucked
to do
when
it.
they started, and after a while they just figure it out and they get better.
Yeah.
But at the same time, in my mind, there's a fine line, because like, I was going to ask you, when did you first realize that like, oh, okay, I'm actually pretty good. This sounds pretty good. I have a decent shot at, this isn't just a stupid idea.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of videos out there, especially on Instagram, of some of these people doing music.
Oh yeah.
Maybe take some more time. But, and I think that's like, if somebody is ever that bad or something, like, maybe you just tell them like, hey, work on this or work on that, or before you start pushing
to Nashville.
music. Yeah.
Right, before you throw everything down and move to Nashville.
But like, or you just have to have some self-awareness, I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, when I moved there, I was not very good. And what I really appreciate, there's some people out there that'll talk poorly about Nashville because it's too commercial and it's too like cookie cutter and stuff like that. And there are definitely quite a few downsides about the city and the culture there and the industry and that sort of thing. But I think if you go there with an open mind and some humility and allow yourself to learn, you're learning from the best. I mean, there's a lot of people that go out there that are just winging it, but there's also like the best musicians and singers in the world that are out there right now, like soon to be some of the biggest stars in country music or pop music. And if you just keep an eye out and listen, you know, I think you can learn a lot. And for me, I think, I don't know. I mean, I feel like after a couple years, I felt like maybe I've got something here. And then when I started playing some more reputable writers rounds and events and working closely with people that I admired and respected, and they started telling me that, you know, I was good, or they invited me to play shows with them and stuff, that's when I started to feel like maybe I've got something here.
Mm-hmm. So it wasn't for a couple years after you'd been there?
I would say at least like 2 years, at least, to where I felt like...
Well, I mean, you must have had some kind of notion before you decided to move to
That's
Nashville.
True. Yeah, so after 2019, it was early 2020, I believe, before I went to Ireland, I would go to the Commodore and play the open mic there. And I met this guy, John Robin, who had some hits back in like the 80s and 90s. And I met him early on at that open mic. And the last one that I played, I don't know if it was an open mic or it was the writer's round, because they would have the writer's round before the open mic. But I played a few of my songs, and afterward he was like, I think you could do this if you wanted to.
And that was early on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, as a writer, which I felt more confident in my skills as a writer. Because even when I was down there in 2019 researching the book, I was still getting out and playing a little bit and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But he said like I could maybe be an artist as well. I guess he saw something in me. So that did do a lot for me. You know, when I went to Ireland and was working on the book, I felt like I wanted to play music. And then I also had that, you know, John's remarks in the back of my head, like, if he thinks I can do it, maybe.
Yeah, that gave you some confidence.
Yeah. So
very cool, man. So we've got quite a few episodes in the queue. So this will be coming out, I don't know, like early summer, probably. Yeah, like June, I think, something like that. Yeah. So you're in Maryland. You got any shows planned that far out in the area? Yeah,
I'll probably be out here on Kent Island. I know I've got some shows over at like Big Al, and I'll probably try to play the pub nearby here again, and still booking some more stuff for the summertime and the seasonal bars and all. I'll be as far down as like South County. I've got some stuff out in Deal and further past Kent Island as well, and then a bunch of stuff down around the mainland as well. So
all around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to hit a lot of towns that I haven't even been to before in Maryland, and I posted on TikTok recently. I've had a lot of help from the community, like just asking, you know, where's everybody from? Yeah, what's a bar near you that you hear live music? Like, let me know what it is, and I'll reach out to them.
Cool.
And probably like half my gigs have come from that.
Yeah.
People just reaching out. So
yeah, the word of mouth thing is definitely the way to go with a lot of booking gigs. Right. So do you got a website?
Yep. It's johnhaywood.info.
Okay.
I couldn't get .com.
Yeah.
And you got Spotify, you got Instagram, you got Facebook, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You got TikTok.
Yep.
Okay.
Find
WhatsApp.
All that stuff. I do have WhatsApp.
We haven't done that yet. Maybe
what
we
is
should.
WhatsApp?
I don't really know.
Like international.
It's like messaging or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure all your gigs are listed on your website. And stay up with Facebook posting and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
In case people want to come check you out.
Yeah, I'd say probably my TikTok right now. It's where I'm putting most of my focus, trying to keep all my shows up on there and everything. But I still post on Instagram quite a bit as well. And
then you mentioned you have something coming out in April?
Yeah, so I've got the song Stardust Tumbleweed, comes out April 10th. And then, let's see if I can remember, I believe it's June 10th, maybe. second week of June, I believe. Sleep When I'm Dead is the next single that I'll have out. And I'll probably do like a little live song or something in between in May. But around about the time this comes out, probably Sleep When I'm Dead is going to be the next. And that's going to be a studio, fully produced song.
Cool. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome, dude. And then you're going to play us something today.
Yeah, I can do that.
Heck yeah. Awesome. Well, John, thanks so much, man. It's been awesome. Really interesting stuff.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Looking forward to hearing the live song, and we'll cut to that right now. All right. See you guys.
Jesus saves, but the devil pays the bills. What a lifetime getting by on old guitars and marble lights makes you think about the fate that you will, and the choices that you made. If on my judgment day it is a six-gun slinger with his finger on the trigger standing at the gate, and there's an old saloon spitting ragtime tunes over races and eights, and the highwaymen are saddling up to ride. When it's my time, will they take me up to the ghost town in the sky? Well, I started out looking for fortune and fame, but them dreams faded fast. Still the song was meant to last. If they sing along but they don't even know my name, well, I know I've done it right when I step into the light. And there's a six-gun slinger with his finger on the trigger standing at the gates, and there's an old saloon spitting ragtime tunes over races and eights, and the highwaymen are saddling up to ride. When it's my time, will they take me up to the ghost town in the sky? There's a six-gun slinger with his finger on the trigger standing at the gates, and there's an old saloon spitting ragtime tunes over races and eights, and the highwaymen are saddling up to ride. When it's my time, will they take me up to the ghost town in the sky? When it's my time, will they take me up to the ghost town in the sky?